Welcome back to the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. This brew has been brought to you by 321 Ignition, Dealership Toolkit, M1 Data and Analytics, BenQ, Fixed Ops Marketing, Don Brady Consulting, The Think Ad Group, and our friends at Petra Automotive Products. Let's brew! Good morning, car guys and car gals. It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. Very, very excited to bring you a solutionary of solutionaries, a car guy of car guys, an upshifter of the uplifters, an incredible solutionary that we're just very, very honored to have the opportunity to salute. We've been waiting for this opportunity, now it is upon us. Car guys, car gals, welcome to the podcast. Excited to have a Thursday with you.
Oh, super excited. This guy that we're going to introduce, Mr. Schmitz, somebody that I've known for a long time. I've actually had the opportunity to go to his stores when I was doing staffed events and hold some great events. His stores were always a lot of fun to go to. They're huge. They have great employees. The way they do business there, their process, the whole nine, the way they onboard, it's like always innovative. It's always next level. It's not the stuff you did in the past. They were always looking to increase and get better every single day. So Craig is that guy. Craig is the guy that always looks for the next best thing. Matter of fact, he is the next best thing. He has these great products that he has out there, Magic URL, Textium. Those are just two things that he's very passionate about right now. And when I say passionate, he absolutely puts all his love into it. The other thing that I've seen he's very passionate about is his family, his son. He just had a great trip down to Miami, just a random trip. Come on now. How cool is that? His son's lucky. I want to be his son.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dad, man.
I know, right?
That's part of the culture that we're definitely excited to continue to cultivate, is finding people like our friend Craig that's going to be in here solving transportation problems, but making sure that the key relationships in life are moving inside of the processes that they're designed to move with, so that you have the maximum life available to you. So I want to do this the justice that it deserves and tag a car guy, tag a car
girl, please.
Get somebody inside of this cafe. Go ahead and get your mugs filled up or emptied out so that he can get you brewing some solutions today. But before we get rocking with the best, I want to make sure that you know that we are always trying to do exactly what's on Fred's chest, and that's Think Ad Group.
That's right.
Excited to be brewing solutions with Think Ad Group. You can get information by going to thinkadgroup.com, connecting with them so that they can take you to the next level and see what it is that you're sitting on that can help you grow and illuminate the business available to you. But folks, we got a lot of stuff we want to do, but I want to get him in here because he's got so much more than I feel like I got right now. We got to get it from him. So folks, car guys, car gals, let's not delay anymore. Let's just get this going. We are going to bring in our friend, the transportation problem solver for the next generation, the one that's connecting things, connecting the dots, connecting the stars to make sure that you can dream to the next level and actually realize it inside of this life. Car guys, car gals, we got a legacy dealer inside of the house, and we are excited to be brewing solutions with him. So help us welcome Craig Schmitz.
What's up, morning?
Buddy?
What's up?
That's a hell of an intro. Nothing to live up to on that one, is it? Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you, man, and we appreciate you for being here. Folks, this is Craig right here. You can see that he's got his drink on. It's it's caffeination. but it's not coffee.
Not coffee. It's not.
It's
coffee.
okay.
It
Not everybody drinks coffee.
That's my afternoon. That's at about the 1 o'clock mark.
Yeah, get that.
That's my second hit.
There you go. So, folks, Craig Schmitz out of the St. Louis area. If you've ever been to that area, you've seen his stores. They're great. They're huge. They have a lot of fun out there, and they produce numbers. He's all about that. He's a very organized man. When I used to go to his store, I remember sitting down and having to get my check at the end of the week. Whew! It was always fun. No, it was his personality. You had to make sure you knew what you were doing because he was going to make sure you did because he's going to ask you questions that you would be like, okay, if you didn't know what you're doing, he's probably going to make sure that he took advantage of that. In a good way, though. I appreciate you, man. And Craig, you're somebody that I've always looked up to. I love your story, so that's why I'm excited about having you on the show because I know where you started and how you got to where you're at today. I've heard it all. You know, Matt Damos, one of my best friends, one of my biggest mentors, absolutely loves you too, man. And I know you and him are real close, and you guys are really good. And he always talks about Craig, and he always tells me the story about you since how he first met you and what you did before he met you. So I'm excited about this 5-liner. I can't wait to drop it. How about you, Lou?
This is a great opportunity for us to be still with a great mind, but somebody that's actually doing the things that you dream to do. I mean, no mentor is ever going to hinder you from speaking to somebody that is doing what you want to do. As a matter of fact, people build businesses off of telling people to go do exactly that. And this incredible car guy is doing things that we dream to do. You know, we dream to have dealerships. We dream to have our own technology. And to merge all the things together, but to help as many people as you help. That's the thing that we encourage the entire culture to start grabbing a hold of, is that if you want the community to be better, you got to grab a hold of it and take it with intention. And that's something that you do. That's something that we honor. And that is something that is definitely of the bloodline of a solutionary. So we appreciate it. Welcome to the cafe. I'm pumped up to get this 5-liner rocking because I got a couple questions and maybe a couple things he doesn't know that has happened inside of his store that have marked me. And I'm excited about. So let's get it rocking.
I'm excited. I'm going to get this 5-liner.
I don't know if that sounds good, but I'm excited as well. So you're just going to shoot questions?
Yeah, we're just gonna hit you with questions, but before we do that, we always drop the 3 Fs, man. It's our mantra, it's our motto, it's the forgive, focus, fly. So we're gonna have you do it with us, man. It's important. That's the only way we can get the show going, or the show won't be successful. So the 3 Fs, man. It's forgive, focus, fly. The first thing you have to do in life is you have to let go of all the weight of unforgiveness. Everything that you've messed up on in the past, all those problems that you had, your friends, everybody telling you can't do it. You gotta let all that go. You got to let it go. Because if you don't, you're going to hold on to that and use it as excuses to not keep growing, right? So the next step is to focus on what you want. After you let all that weight go, you focus. Now you focus, you're able to fly. And when you're flying, you can keep growing and keep growing. So together, if you don't mind, we'd love for you to jump in on this. We're going to do forgive, focus, fly. You're going to do it with us. It's going to take 2 seconds and we'll get it going. Ready?
Got it.
Here we go. You
ready? On 3. Car guys, car gals, and solutionaries everywhere, let us forgive, focus, and fly. Let's be the gateways to greater things by applying 3 Fs so we can keep growing. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing, keep growing, keep growing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Love it.
Now
it's time.
Begin a 5-liner.
Let's get this 5-liner going. We're excited. So, folks, this 5-liner is 5 questions I love to ask everybody. The first question is always the same question. It's your why. What is your purpose, Craig? What gets you up every single day and makes you want to do these things that are solutionary, that change the game, that keep you growing to that next level? What is your purpose?
What is my purpose is to keep growing as a person, to keep challenging myself. I think the givens are to take care of my family, take care of my employees. But my internal purpose is to continue to prove to myself that I can do better today than what I did yesterday. So that's what keeps me going is what did I accomplish yesterday? What have I accomplished so far in my life? And how am I going to improve that? How am I going to level up and go to the next step? So that's my internal drive.
Yes. And that's a great drive. You and I share that drive. I absolutely have the same things. I'm always looking to be a little bit better than I was yesterday. And what can I do today to make that happen, right? And that's something that I've been watching you do for a long time. Big time, man. And it's amazing. Even since I first met you, I've seen how much further you've come since then, man. And you're really a shining light out there. Your social media game's really nice. You're doing a really good job with your videos. When you present your product, you show passion, but you also show some humor in it. And that's what I really love about you. It's like you're a serious guy, but you put humor in it. And it's very slight, but when you pay attention, I know it. And I see it, and it always makes me crack up. So I appreciate the way you are and the way that you bring light to this business. So
thank you, Fred.
That's going to lead into the next question, but I want to say that there was a quick story inside of the life of a car guy where
This is your story at my dealerships?
This is my story at your store.
All right, let me have it.
I came out of the car business for a little while. Car guys, car gals, I came out of the car business, and I was trying to figure out who I was as a father, as a friend, as a community servant, as a leader with the next generation, as the person that I was trying to figure out how to be. So I did different things, right? A salesperson can always find a way to grind it out and find a way to make money. So, and of course, I leaned heavily on my God, and he supplied everything that I needed in that season. But Fred calls me up, says, Lou, got this big sale going on. I know you're out of the car business, man. I am light on people, but we need to make something happen. This is an incredible opportunity for everybody. Let's rock. You're going to love it out there. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm like, man, that was a wayful moment in my life, because it was like I pulled away. You know how many calls I got before that, right? It was, every week it's, no, I'm not coming. I'm out. But this time there was something different in the air. I spoke to my wife about it, spoke to my church leadership about it, said, should I even pursue this?
Heck yeah.
Had the full release, felt the kiss from heaven, showed up at the lot, haven't taken it up in a little bit over a year, rocked the entire floor, just absolutely mopped everybody. It was an incredible touchdown.
That's why I had you come,
Ramirez.
buddy.
But it was a great time to see a different level of process too. I was at your store and saw it seamlessly take
their process is clean.
Directly to the heartbeat of making a deal happen as quick and as efficient and as on the side of both the customer and the employee. And that helped for me to see and to feel and to hope differently. Shortly after that, I then jumped over and took over and helped start a Nissan store, and was having an entire new flow into the car business, and that reinvigorated all of the car guy that was in me in that moment. But your store helped to show me it on a different level with my best friends inside of the business. That was a marking moment that was available because you had a great platform to bring all of these incredible people together at one time, and it literally was the gateway back into the car business for me. So there's a lot of metaphors. The more you speak with me, you understand I'm going to simile this conversation to death. But you are somebody that set a platform, and I honor that. And there's so many other key life-changing moments that people like you prepare a platform for that you don't even get to see. You don't even know that your blessing is raining down and pouring over into many, many other people. And that's something that people should also take a moment to honor, that you're not just a great person that knows how to put processes together, but you know how to build up people in order to build up businesses. And that's the culture that we're trying to see happen. And it's personally something that's been inside of my cup and put the car guy back in the car business. And I honor that and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for just doing what it is that you didn't even know that you were doing for me, brother.
Hey, Lou, I appreciate that. That's nice. And I want to mention something. First of all, life, business for me, it's all about routine. It's all about process, right? If you don't set a process and follow that process, there's nothing for you to look back on to see or to identify what you can improve, right? So if you continue every day to change your routine as a person, what time you get up, when you go to the gym, how you go to work, you don't have anything to base your improvement upon. It's the same thing in business. You have to have process, both inside the store for training, for how you hire, for what you expect out of your employees, for the customer process, because you want to continue to identify how you can improve, to continue to refine that process to be able to grow. So Matt and Fred fit so well within my dealerships because their processes really fit within mine. I understand that a lot of the dealerships that staffed events went into were more of a save the day type of situation. The dealership is poorly ran, a lot of aged inventory. The dealers freaking out about their P&L. and it's, bring in Matt and Fred to save the day and put some gross in the books, get us out of these cars that I'm hung in. And that's not what my stores were. When we ran sales, we were already crushing it. It was a matter of how do we bring in Fred, Matt with his team for a few days to level up, right? So we already had the process. It wasn't a shit show when they walked in. Nope. And everybody was able to get along, fit right within a process, and put another couple $100,000 of gross on the books in 4 or 5 days. And that's what we did. That's why they had not a hard time getting their checks, is they'd sit down and I go, you must have an extra zero on there. What's going on? Right? But
I love it.
I always enjoyed it. I absolutely always enjoyed it, and the feeling's mutual. I can promise you that I learned as much as perhaps I taught whenever your team visited my store. So it was always a great time. We always made a ton of dough, and
yes, sir.
I miss those days.
I do too, and I always had fun coming to your store. There was so many reasons, with you have a great staff. When I was coming in, you had Will's still there, and
He's still here. Yeah,
Will was outstanding. He was always helpful. Like by the time we did a few more sales with y'all, he was always the one helping me set up with the advertising, doing all that. So I got really close with Will, and I always liked Will. So let him know I said, "What's up, man?" By the way. But that being said, great store. He's right. We didn't go in there to help save his store. We went in there just to throw a little bit of extra. That was it. And he would they'd be rocking. We'd come in there. They have his regular business going on, and we would throw our little extra in there. One of my favorite car deals I ever worked myself personally was at your store, and I had so much fun with this guy. I remember going to his house, meeting his mom, and like down payments were all over this house. I'm talking like, here's another $1,000. No, man, I need another 3 more. She's pulling money everywhere. It's the greatest thing. But I mean, experiences that I had there, from even when Adam was working for you, I always enjoyed Adam. Adam always brought us in like we were family too. So it was a great, great, great place to be. Your onboarding process to me is the best onboarding process that I've ever was part of or seen across the country. It's very numbers based. It's very this, but you guys were very encouraging. You guys put the training in. It wasn't like you just said, hey, you need to do these numbers or you won't make it. You need to do these numbers, and here's how we're going to show you how to get to these numbers. Now, if you don't hit the numbers, that's on them. I can talk about auto centers forever, but let's talk about Craig Schmitz.
For all the car guys out there and understanding process and the process of what's been brewing inside of your life, what got you into the car business?
A half hour left, guys. So I'll do the best I can. I'll try to abbreviate. I'll try to abbreviate the story. Your other job, of course, is hosting this podcast. Is when you just hit me with the timeout on our little private chat. Like that's far enough, Craig. Okay. So I'll give you the cliff notes. Let me know what you want me to expand on. So it started with an absolute love of cars. Of course, at the age of 18. You don't understand that your love of cars. I mean, I was a gearhead, right? So I just loved cars, anything to do with cars. And at one of my many summer jobs was working at a detail shop. So at 18 years old, I found my own little spot up in a kind of a bad part of town where all the little bitty car dealers were. And I opened up my own detail shop when I was 18. At 19 years old, I started selling cars for one of the dealerships that I clean cars for. That general manager that was 29 at a time, 29 years old at the time, is now my business partner 25 years later. So I went from a detail shop to selling cars when I was 19, started in February. And I remember I made $76,000 the first year I sold cars when I was 19 years old, right? And I came from a family with no money, right? So, you go home and show your dad your paycheck, and he says, holy shit, you made more money than I did. You're doing something right. But absolutely loved it. It's that little corner gas station, 35 cars on the lot. You guys, know what those are. So I grew up in the subprime business, and that's really what shaped me. Gosh, I can go on and on and on about how lucky I was. I was so fortunate, and I didn't know any different. But when I sold cars, you did everything. So the car would get dropped off. I stocked it in. I walked it. I sent it out for reconditioning. I authorized repairs. I swept the lot. I parked the cars. I marketed the cars. I took the phone calls. took the credit apps, worked the deals, printed the deals, signed the deals, funded the deal, right? And I just thought that's how the car business was. But what it was doing unknowingly was preparing me for everything I needed to know. Yeah. So I sold from the time I was 19 to the time I was 22. At that time, Missouri passed a law that you had to have auto insurance in order to drive, therefore fund a deal. I saw an opportunity. I left when I was the car business, and Bill, my business partner, when I was 22, I opened up an insurance brokerage, and at that time was a Southwestern Bell wireless store. So I had 4 locations, 2 of each. I had that for 2 years, and I'll say it all the time. I'm a very lucky person, but I always find the harder I work, the luckier I get. Oh, right?
Love it.
So I ended up selling my book of business for the insurance company. I ended up at that time, the mobile and pager business, so a lot of pagers.
Showing your age, Craig.
Yeah, I wish I had one now, but
no doubt.
Not as accessible. Pager and a pocket full of quarters. So back in those days, when you owned a mobile phone store, it was just like having an insurance company to where you got paid off your book of business, right? So everybody that signed up and got a mobile phone or a pager, you got a cut of that monthly bill. So anyway, I sold both those books of business. At that time, I was 24. Billy was still a good friend. He had left as well, opened up a small car dealership. And I told him, I said, I got some coin. I'm getting back in the car business. I'm going to open up a store. He said, let's do it together. And we opened up our first used car dealership July 5th of 2000. So, like I said, and that's the short version.
Right.
If you want me to go on, I will. But that's how I progressed, right? You work your ass off.
Yeah.
You make the best choices you can. You network with others that have the same motivation and dreams, and you lift each other up. Opportunities present themselves, and you got to have the courage to take them. And I made a few of the right choices.
Man, and those words you just gave are some of the best words of advice that you guys can hear. If you're listening to this right now and you're worried about how do I get to the next level, he just gave you the master plan. He just ripped it out for you. That's the blueprint. Exactly what he just said. You're going to have to take a risk, and it's going to be a little scary. But sometimes, matter of fact, all the time, when the risk is right and you're with the right people and you network and you know there is no real risk. It just feels like it because it's uncomfortable. It's something different for you. Craig is the epitome of that. He shows you the path. He's done it multiple times in multiple businesses. He just laid out 3 different things right there. If you guys heard what he said, he went from selling cars all by himself, doing every bit of the process, thinking it's normal. But once again, he understood that he learned something there, how to run a business, how to run a car dealership. And he can tell people, I've done that. I've done this, right? He isn't a papa had a dealership, a PhD. He is I did it myself. He showed his dad how to do it in a sense. You know what I mean? So kudos to Craig for that. And his business partner is a great business partner too. Bill's a great guy. I've actually only met him once, but I've heard nothing but amazing stuff about him. And from everybody, from Adam, Matt, everybody's told me nothing but great stuff. So the network is important too. And that's a big part, who you are around, who you surround yourself with, because you will become that. When you surround yourself with a bunch of, lack of a better word, losers, you're going to be a loser. You surround yourself with people who are looking for success on that frequency of growth, like Craig is, and Bill, and many other people I can mention. You're going to go further than you could ever imagine because you're going to be propelled by those people. You're going to see them do something, which makes that uncomfortable a little bit easier to bear. And you see that it's possible, right? So, man, great stuff, great story. And he's right. That is a short version of it.
And I just would sit here and continue to listen. I feel like I'm reading a book
in
how to be better.
Craig needs to write a book. Did you just say Craig needs to write a book?
So, if we can, help push you in that direction or promote it or just have one signed, whatever. There's a lot that you're pouring out, and we want to enjoy that. And again, share it, because this is the stuff that people need to hear more of. That if you just focus on it, believe that it's available for you, hear the testimony of somebody that's been there, it'll help you go through the process. No different than somebody saying, okay, I'll deal with Fred at the store. Why? Because I heard a testimony of somebody saying that they achieved success by trusting him and his process.
Right.
And this is exactly what he's putting out there for all you solutionaries out there. from glory to glory, from step to step. You can achieve your dreams, but you got to be focused on it. And you got to not just look at it and put the poster on the wall. You got to pursue it. You have to passionately pursue the things that you're dreaming of. Yeah. And you'll see way beyond that once you start cracking that door.
You can't just stare at what you want. You have to step up to what you want. You have to make those steps, and that's the key. You can't just look at it and hope that it happens. You have to take the steps, and Craig does that every
Fred, there's three things, and it's what I tell my friends, my kids, when people want to know my story, right? The first one is you have to work your ass off.
100.
If you work really, really hard, opportunity will present itself. The second part is you have to be smart enough to see it. You have to want to see it. And then the third thing is you have to have the courage to take it. And each part of that is a litmus test to the individual of how bad they want something. Because if you're unwilling to put the work in, unwilling to tolerate the pain, the opportunities will never present themselves. You're done. If you can work hard, you can be on an assembly line grinding, but you just don't see that opportunity to move up because you don't slow down and you don't look for it. Now, there are people that work hard, right? I'm busting my butt. I'm making great money. An opportunity, has come up. I see it, but I'm too scared and I'm not willing to take the risk to go to the next level. So you have to be willing to do all those things. Absolutely crush it every day. See the opportunity when it presents itself, and then take the risk. Go out on the line in order to take the next step. And it does that's life, right? Yes. That's falling in love. That's building a business. Yes. That's doing anything. You have to put the work in to get the opportunity, and you have to take the risk to get the most out of that opportunity. So that sums up my life.
Oh, guys, do us a favor real quick. If you're watching this on the replay, if you're watching it live, give Craig a
coffee mug. Man,
emoji.
I'm going to tell you something.
Cheers to that.
That is going to be a highlight in one episode. We're going to have to replay that clip. Because, folks, those are the best words of advice that you can hear from somebody who's been there and done that, right? So I love it. And he's not just done that. He's also looking to do other things. He has new businesses starting. He has all kinds of stuff. He's that guy. He keeps growing because he knows if he doesn't keep growing, he's dying. And that's it, period, hands down. Man, Craig, I love that, man. Well, so I'm going to get to the third question. The third question I have for you, we all get in this business. We all have mentors. We all have people that we look up to, somebody who's kind of gave us a tip, shown us a way, helped us find a shortcut in this business. And there's really no shortcuts. They just show you what not to do, right? So that being said, who would you call that person? Who is that person to you? Who's that one that gave you that tip that helped you get to that next level?
I wouldn't say gave me a tip to get me to the next level. There are countless individuals that I'm fortunate that to surround myself with. From an unbelievable family to friends, but if I have to give kudos to one person, it's Bill Hagley. He's an unbelievable business partner, best friend, godfather to my son, the most tolerant man that you can imagine if he deals with me. And we've been right. So, and we've been business partners for over 20 years. So that says something in itself. So, Bill is that mentor. Bill's the one that's really kept me between the rails and helped me turn into who I am. But that's not I could name 100 people from my mom and dad to my uncles to a dozen friends that I can pick the phone up at 2 a.m. and they'll say, I'm here for you. So it's not fair to pick one, but if you make me do it, it's going to go to Bill.
That's awesome. No, Bill, that's another one of those names. We mentioned it a little bit ago. Bill is that.
He's an amazing person. I've heard nothing but great things, and I'm looking forward to one day meeting him and getting to know him a little bit more and hit him with a five-liner. But man, no, that's great that you throw honor to him because I know that he probably would do the same with you because I'm sure, like you said, as much as you've learned from him, I'm sure he's learned a lot from you. You definitely bring a different aura, a different level to the game. So, man, good stuff. Bill, shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you.
That is great honor. You can feel it inside of his words. You can feel it inside of just how it is that he describes them, folks. Being able to honor the people that help you raise up is key to making sure that you continue to raise up. And that's why it's so important for us to forgive, focus, and fly together, to get on the same frequency, get on the same wavelength, but do what it takes to lift each other up. Inside of that, we have those people that have lifted us up through taking some of the hardest hits on the chin, through experiencing tough times inside of business, in life, vice versa. All of that stuff intermingles. Craig, this great success that you've had and the great dreams that you've had, if you were to explain or just to put out there the biggest lump you've taken or the hardest lesson you've ever had in your career or your mission. I mean, this is more than just a career. This is your mission. You know, you honor the value of your day, and you're trying to maximize it for the sake of you and your legacy. And so what has been the biggest lump you've taken or the biggest lesson you've had to learn inside of this pursuit?
Unfair question. There isn't one. There's many. I'm an advocate of pain, right? It doesn't matter if it's in the gym or in the office. If there's no pain, there's probably no lesson. So I would say a couple of things that come to mind would be the difficulty in some of these economic swings we've had. Back we opened up in 2000, right? So the Twin Towers happened shortly after. Right. Business fell off. And then again in 08, 09. So I'd have to say that one of it is when the industry falls and we have to succumb to selling fewer cars, it'd be laying people off. That's one of the most difficult things that you have to do, is to tell somebody that, they're not going to get a paycheck. So that's a lesson learned to do everything you possibly can to ensure that doesn't have to happen. Right. So it's learning from those lessons of running a little fat on employees, that you have to let some go, to try to run leaner on employees, expect more out of those individuals. So when times do get lean, everybody can step up and stay employed. So that's one that hits real hard. I get choked up about it. And there's many other lessons along the way that we've all had to endure.
Yeah. That's a tough one. That's family. When you start to work with people and you see them every day and you hear about their kids, you hear about their wives and all the issues and happiness and the vacations. And then one day you have to tell them, hey, I just don't have a spot right now, man. Business is really down, and it's not even your fault. It's not our fault. It's just the economy, the way the world is turning, But that's the thing. It was universal. It's kind of like this past year, 2020 was wild, and we had to get lean too, and it wasn't fun to do that. It was like, okay, listen, I know that but it was a worldwide thing. So it was easier to swallow that pill, I think, when it's worldwide. When you're talking about 2008, that was just isolated to the United States. And when you look at stuff like that, it makes you go, man, this really sucks. But 08 was wild. I'm in the Twin Towers. You're talking, this is like right in my car business era too. So I've been through all those things too. So when I saw that happen, it was crazy, but we all made it through it and we learned lessons from that. But letting people go, I can imagine, because especially where you're at and at the level that, you're trying to make these people's lives better. That was kind of the fun of being an owner. You get to touch so many people and help them live a better life. And you see that through them. You see them buying homes. You see them buying cars, going on vacations, doing all these things that they never could do before. Buying that nice suit with a tie, things they were, before they couldn't even afford that, and this car business afforded that for them. But then you had to tell them, hey, look, I'm going to have to pump the brakes on this a little bit. And so will you, but it is tough. I can't imagine being at your level and having to go through all that. That's definitely difficult to have to do that.
Yeah. Every one of these questions we could come back and have a complete segment on.
Absolutely.
I mean, a complete podcast on. So I could walk you guys through a lot of growing lessons, that I've had. I can explain more of my story. So this is fun. This is great, but it's you do a good job because, choose one. And, any more than that, we could talk.
That's why the question is this one thing. Hey, we've had these episodes go as long. We've recorded a show one time and went 5 hours. No joke. And it was bananas. It was the longest one ever.
We did them in the middle of the night. We started at 10:30.
And it ended like at 3:30 in the morning.
Was that called Car Guy Cocktails?
It should be.
I'll run that one.
We wouldn't be able to go that long.
Right, yeah, we need to go ahead and trademark that. but no, we definitely enjoy these, and it's fun because we get to know people a little bit more. And I'm definitely getting to know you a little bit more and deeper, and it's fun. And you're right; these are very short, and you can make a whole show about one of these topics. You know, the thing is that this is a journey that we all go through. It's life, and life can be good or bad, but it's all between those 2 ears of yours. How you look at it, your attitude towards it, and your attitude towards everything is always fantastic, man, and I love it. So that's why I'm so glad to have you here today.
That's our kind of brew.
100%, man.
And I don't want to cut you off.
You aren't.
But there's something that you also got the chance to experience, that we had the chance to experience, that maybe we're not we haven't really even looked at it to value it the way that we should have, to see what was being built when we looked at our employees and said, especially the sales crew, to say, listen, we need to hit this number so that we can hire so-and-so back. Hey, we need to get to here so that we can hire that. To see the company come together and people get focused on saving the jobs of their brothers and sisters and putting them back on the team and them getting united, when your entire sales meeting is what's going on with so-and-so that's not with you anymore. What can we do today to amplify our efforts to be able to draw back in more of the family, right? To get them back ingrained into or engraft into the body, right? We want to get them back. And that was a different level of selling for our team. We welded together differently. You know what I mean? When we started to see people come back and then them come back and then shoot, to the top of the sales board, right? Start to see some success, start to put their life, back on track. So many of these, and that's not just the salespeople. That's the cleanup guys, the office staff, the other people that are just as much part of your business, right? And that don't necessarily get the focus too much in our sales-driven industry, but they're just as much part of who we are as a team. But when we came together as a team, that was great. I wonder what that was like for you as a dealer to see people do that. How did that feel? This is just a bonus question before we pitch it up to what you'll probably drop at the end.
So, be more specific in your question. Once people left and you're able to bring them back, how did that feel?
Yeah, what was it like to see your people come together to save each other, to save the jobs of each other, or bring them?
It was remarkable. I mean, the wounds are still open, right? Especially over the last 12 months, going into COVID, and we all had that valve shut off. Right? This thing has been just a financial and emotional roller coaster that I haven't experienced in my 20 plus years in business.
Right.
From going from, holy smokes, what are we going to do? We don't have enough, to how we're going to buy enough cars to be able to fulfill demand.
It's so crazy how that is.
I've got to tell you, going into kind of the COVID tunnel, you mentioned Will, Dan, Pete. I don't want to leave anybody out. All of my team. You are what your team is. These guys stepped up 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, doing anything and everything they needed to do in order to put the company first, to make certain that there was a company there for people to come back to. Mm-hmm. So I have the utmost respect, for every. Gosh, I shouldn't have listed names. So proud of everybody. Yeah, everybody. There's 20 plus individuals that really gave it their all. There's people in the office and in the service department that could have bowed out and got bigger checks from the government, but said, that's not me. I want to be here. And it felt good. It felt great. And then, of course, hockey stick back up and being able to bring people back. It's a great feeling.
That's the home of the Wiggity Way. I'm telling you, man.
Wiggity Way, baby.
That's right. I always love that slogan, man, and I love the frog. So that being said, man, that's amazing, because you're right. I love that you said, I wish I didn't name any names, because you're right. Because it's hard, because you don't want to make people feel like they're not as important as other people, because everyone is intricate. We realize that when you don't have those people in place, when you don't have that office person in there processing the paperwork you need and it gets behind. It's tough when the titles aren't getting processed and you aren't getting everything done where they can get their everything. It really can put a kink in the business, and it's not good. Banks expect you to have lien holders' name and stuff on titles within 30 days or their contract be voided. There's so many reasons why everybody is intricate and why everybody is important when it comes to the business. So when you have a missing link, you realize it's missing. But when you have people step up during that time to fill in that void, people like Pete. And Pete, I'll tell you, Pete is a different person than when last time I saw Pete, because his hair, everything is all different swag. He seems like he's just a happy guy right now. And I think this last decade really, but this last year really probably set that in place too. So kudos to your team. You have a great one. I mean, those names that you named off are great car guys.
Yeah. And you know what? I always find a silver lining in everything. And going through a situation like this, if it's something that you go through personally or something in business, you really find out who your real friends are, and you find out who your real team is, who your real employees are. And I couldn't think of one person that was unwilling to step up and make it happen. And it just really makes you so proud that you have friends and employees like that. It really does.
It's because it becomes family after a while. They stepped up because they felt like they're part of something. It's like a club, like a motorcycle gang or something. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean.
Like, go there.
You're initiated in there. It's so deep that you feel like you would be letting people down if you don't step up.
Yeah, but we don't jump our employees in the parking lot. So.
You should. It'd be a lot more fun. I'm telling you. I'm just kidding, but for real.
I knew I liked the shit.
They do get a leather vest though with Wiggity on the back of it and no sleeves. So it's kind of like a motorcycle gang.
No, but in the serious note,
I was convinced for the first little bit that they had a dojo of their own. That store had to have some sort of a place where they went and really worked on their martial arts on their own, just because of the powers that they were rocking with. I mean, and then it was just a fun atmosphere. Martial arts was all up inside of the other culture. I loved it out there.
Good old Adam.
Yeah, when he used to do the office.
Choking somebody out in the BDC.
Yeah, office jiu-jitsu. I just watched, he had a video that was like on a memory yesterday that it was him on the ground. He had somebody in like some kind of like leg lock and stuff. Adam Marburger. You got to love that guy.
It's never dull around Auto Centers, I can tell you that.
It never has been. Every time I went there, I always had fun, period. We'd move a lot of metal, have a great time, laugh. Your staff always welcomed us like family also. That's how you know you have a good culture in your store, because they brought us in. When we came in, it felt like family too. Like they just already had that open thing. Now you had to earn it though. Like you couldn't come in there and be a weak stick and they'd be like, okay, I don't even want to talk to you. Right. You had to come in there and prove that you were who you were. And then they would open their arms up like, yeah, man, you're a car guy. Let's go out here and let's have some fun, And
it was only because Matt brought a tub of candy. That's all they cared about. There was nothing else, right?
100%. That's it.
We have Jolly Ranchers. You guys come on in.
Come on in. Jolly Ranchers all day. But no, great store, great environment, great people. And that's what I love about Craig Schmitz. Now, Craig Schmitz, he has so many things going on in life. He has a different business. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. I'm going to hit him with the fifth question, then I want to do a little fresh news with him too. But the last question I'm going to ask you is, out of all the things that you've been through and you've seen, we all have highlights that come up. What has been the greatest reward for everything, all the hard work you put together? What's been the greatest reward from all that?
Oh, wow. I should have better prepped for this. One, I get to name one. What the greatest reward is for my life's work at the age of 45. I mean, do you go like, it's not business, it's my kids? Do you go safe?
You
go safe.
Do you go safe?
It could be.
You could tell. Honestly, let's not say one. What's been some great rewards for all the hard work you put in? How about that? Let's make it a little bit more broad. You can so this way you can do the answer.
Sure.
And the real answer too.
I'll hit you with a couple. A few different things, right? I would say one of the biggest ones is the financial freedom to do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yes.
Right? Maybe people wouldn't say that, but it's true. There is a certain amount of freedom, especially when you're a creative person. Yeah. I like thinking of figuring out, seeing problems, identifying solutions, and using creativity to solve them. And they usually turn into a business. And you can't do that if you're not if you don't have the luxury of time, and you don't have the luxury of time unless you have the wealth and the team to run your other businesses, right? So the freedom to, within reason, do whatever the hell I want to do. That's fun. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And that's exactly, I think, every single one of us want that. Deep down inside, we all want to have the financial freedom because financial freedom gives you life freedom. It allows you to be creative. It allows you to do things and not have as much, the risk kind of drops quite a bit. Like the risk isn't, I'm going to lose everything if I try this, right? And Craig, you do that and you do it really well, man. And in your companies, Magic URL, of course, Textium, which has been out for a little bit now. And I think it's both of them fantastic products. Done a little bit of research on them. I want to talk about that here in a moment also.
I get to plug my products?
Yeah, your fresh news, man. It's important.
Perfect. All right.
I think you're prepped for this because you know this stuff, right?
Let's go.